Welcome back, everybody, to another episode this week of Statistically Speaking, a UteNation podcast. I'm your host again for this week, Alex Markham, with Ivan Withers out on vacation, doing some good old hunting. So I get to wrangle in my favorite stat geeks once again. What's going on, boys?
Geek
What's
is
up?
a little
The
bit
geek
offensive
challenge
term
right
these
there.
days, Alex.
I
You
can
get yourself
bite the
canceled.
head off a chicken. That's what that means, right?
Geek. Oh well, the shoe
You know I love
fits.
you
The
guys.
shoe fits. That the pocket protector fits.
Hey, but geeks become
Whoa.
lawyers, right? Aren't you? Yeah,
That's
you guys are
right.
attorneys,
We're
Right.
yes, that's true.
and
That's
lawyers do
true.
all right. So
Matt, you're not a lawyer.
that's true. But I'm a
No, he
finance
just
guy.
plays
So
on
I
TV.
wasn't,
It's close. Lawyers and accountants are the same thing.
Where did I go
really.
wrong?
Same thing. Rows of numbers, rows of laws. It's all the same.
You know, I always got to tease you guys. We always got to have fun. So, man, my favorite guys when it comes to talking numbers. How's that? That's a better way to put it. That fair? Is that fair?
That's fair.
It's all good.
All right.
That's acceptable.
So, you know what I love about this episode right here? It's Texas Tech week. We're into the Big 12. Those aren't the
first
things
game that
I love the
matters.
most. They're not the things I love the most. You want to know what I love the most this episode? Joe has enough data.
Joe has a chart.
We get
I
a
love the
stat.
charts.
There you
I love the
go.
charts. I do the
How
whole
good is
thing
that
just for the
data
charts.
for a
Charts,
team?
more charts.
How good is that data for a team that hasn't played a road game and hasn't played a team that could be ranked in the top 100?
Hey, they have played at least the 136th hardest schedule in the country.
That's the easiest strength of schedule, right?
They're 136th according to FPI, yes.
So no one has played an easier schedule than Texas Tech.
Correct.
Although Utah
Very
is
important to remember that.
Utah's 119th, so not a murderer's row by any stretch, but that's 13th. That's only 13th worse than the Big 12. There are 4 teams below Utah.
Who would have ever thought that Utah would have that strength of schedule right now after playing a Big Ten team?
Right? Oh yeah.
Yeah. A Big Ten team that then lost to 2 very bad, one bad Mountain West team and 1 pretty bad Mountain West team.
I mean,
I remember after that
let's be
first
honest.
week, we were talking about what it would mean for Utah, the good win over UCLA, and it really had to do with how UCLA performed moving forward. And I think it's safe to say that this is that's not the win that Utah's going to hang their hats on when they're making their case. There's a rough football squad out there. Yeah, maybe not even the best team Utah played this year.
Could the argument be made, though, that Utah broke UCLA, broke their confidence, and that's what caused them to play so poorly these last 2 games? Is that possible?
You could make that
not
argument.
A statistical podcast. Yes.
Their
But we
confidence was
believe
already
in the
broken
numbers,
over
the cold,
fact
hard
that they
facts right
decided
now.
to bring on Nico.
Yeah.
So the fact that they brought on Nico, their confidence was already broken, and they were searching for a prayer.
Yeah.
And their prayers were not answered.
Sure were.
Has anybody checked the transfer portal yet? See if Nico's in it.
Worth checking.
Maybe they're so down bad that they let him play until he finds another team.
Crowded with
Utah
powder
State.
blue.
All right, guys. Hey, so we can banter about that constantly, right? So again, it's a fun week, and Joe's got his chart, but at the same time too, Dustin, Matt, you guys finally have meaningful numbers that you guys are going to be wanting to talk about too. So
absolutely,
this is what like those first few episodes were fun. The first few weeks, they were fun. Now it's getting a lot of fun. It's a lot more meaningful.
We've got some real numbers now.
Exactly.
Consequential football is what it is.
Yeah, you guys were stretching some stuff a little bit, looking for things to talk about. Now it's kind of hit that point where you guys have much more meaningful data to be able to go by. That the ones that maybe haven't followed your stuff in the past are going to be deep diving and absolutely loving this. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys bring this week and going forward. And when Ivan comes back to babysit you guys and keep you guys in line, right? So
Good luck. Good luck, Hyman.
We're off the leash now.
That's right. That's right. It's the main season. We're out of control.
Well, I will say, Pro Football Focus loves Texas Tech. They're the number 1 rated team in the Big 12, number 1 offense, number 2 defense. Pro Football Focus thinks they're a monster. Now, Pro Football Focus doesn't adjust for strength of schedule. So
There
this
you
is
go.
just raw numbers. But Utah's roughly in the 7s and hasn't played that much tougher of a schedule. So Pro Football Focus, that Texas Tech has 5 offensive starters rated in the mid to high 80s, and their defensive players, they have 4 players that have played more than 50 snaps rated over 90, and then another 10 above 75. I mean, it's a team that Pro Football Focus likes a lot. They have been very effective against very terrible competition.
Yeah, I kind of look at it. Okay, I'll just come out and say it. I was talking in a private message chat on Twitter X, and there's this guy Anthony, and he called him Timu USC, and if you look at it, that's what they are. Here's a team that doesn't have a great defense. They've looked good numbers wise against these terrible teams, but last year they had the worst pass defense that gave up the most yards in all of FBS, and they have brought in a new defensive coordinator and basically an entire new secondary, an entire new defensive line. But these guys weren't world beaters from where they were coming from. So they look good right now against 3 easy teams. But I think when they face a team like Utah, it's going to look a lot more like Texas Tech's defense from last year. And then it's an offense that just loves to throw the ball and loves to make those big plays, but they're not on the field very long. Their time of possession is very low. So I look at this as a game where Utah is going to take advantage of the time of possession like they always do, keep the ball out of the hands of Texas Tech, and just slowly beat them down.
So Matt, you're the financial analyst, so you're sitting there saying you're calling them Timu, right? So I've heard people call them Timu Texas. So I'm not saying that so people don't clip me, right? But
Saying it,
dude. So you're the financial analyst. Is that oil money investment worth it right now, or do they still got a few years?
I don't think so. I think that those investors are feeling pretty good right now. There's a lot of confidence coming out of that team. But if you look at a very good case study for this is Ole Miss last season. Ole Miss, their first 4 games, they beat Furman 76-0, Middle Tennessee 52-3, Wake Forest 40-6, Georgia Southern 52-13. Then they played their first SEC game against Kentucky and lost 20-17. So I think you're looking at a very similar case study here where a team has a very soft non-conference schedule. Now they're going to play a real team with a real defense, and I think they're going to hit a wall.
So here's the one thing I'll say, and we got to keep this stats oriented, right? But we all know that you guys are the ones that go deep on that. I don't, right? So, I sit back and over the years I've laughed at USC, all their chest pounding, all their curling, all their taunting. And, so yeah, look what we just pulled in. Look what we just did this. Look what we just did that. I'm like, yeah. How's your trenches?
Yep. Beautiful.
You guys remember me saying that constantly. What constantly happened, right? The one thing that Texas Tech has done, and they've done smart, is they have built within the trenches when it comes to a lot of their investments. So that's the smart thing. That's the smart approach. It's how Utah's built their winning teams. So we'll see. I feel like it's a much more sustainable approach that they're doing with, their money than other teams have.
Oh, it's a better rebuild than what Colorado did.
We'll see. What's that?
It's a better rebuild than what Colorado tried to do.
That doesn't
I think the
take
guys
much.
that they brought in, well, because Colorado tried to bring in these offensive linemen, but they didn't realize Shadur needed 10 seconds per play to get a pass off, and it just didn't work out. But I think it's gonna, look a little bit better.
I don't
for Behren
think
Morton
you
than it
can
has
build
already. But when he gets under pressure, he struggles.
Yeah, we've talked about my opinion on this before, but I don't think you can build offensive line through the portal. I don't think it works. I don't think you can build offensive line with 1 year rentals at multiple spots. Maybe if you just need a guard, just need one tackle,
Yeah.
you're okay. But I don't
can't
think
do
you can build an offensive line through the portal because that unit is unique in football in that it really needs to play together. And Texas Tech, their offense and defensive line is built through the portal. I think their defensive line is going to be pretty good. That they picked up some solid talent that was rated well last year at their prior homes, Northern Illinois, UCF, Houston, those kind of places. Like, not a murderer's row. It's not 4 guys from Texas or Michigan or whatever, but it's guys that were rated well at other schools. But the offensive line, I think, is going to suffer a little bit when they start playing tougher defenses.
Yeah, and we're talking about. I mean, to say that Texas Tech has not played a tough schedule is really
An understatement. I mean, basically playing on an empty field, right? I mean, it's exhibition.
But what I find interesting when I look at their stats is they're from right now their defense is actually scoring a little bit higher in advanced metrics than their offenses. Their ESPN offensive efficiency is 15th in the nation, and defensive efficiency is 3rd, which certainly runs counter to what people are expecting. And I think what you expect when you kind of look at the roster and look at the stats, because some of the offensive stats are so gaudy. But they've been a pretty efficient defense. All that said, though, there's just nothing there. We know almost nothing about this team based on the opponents that they've played. Every single a good test for me is when I pull up the schedule and I'm thinking about a team. Do I have to click on each opponent to figure out what their mascot is and what state they're from? If that's the case, that's a good sign that they haven't really played anybody at all. I don't see what Texas Tech has done thus far this season as being reflective of how they're actually going to perform. I think they are a very good team. I think they are far and away the best team that the Utes will have played by the end of next week. I don't think it's going to be an easy game by any stretch, but I think when you dig into the advanced statistics, you see flaws and you see holes, and you see a team that relies on a handful of really big plays and breaking things open. And like we talked about in our last segment, like that's not the kind of game football is. The kind of game that football is a game of efficiency and consistency and always getting the thing done. And once they're playing against a defense where you have opponents who can get that sack on 3rd and 1, right, or that pass breakup on 1st down that throws you off your rhythm, suddenly it doesn't work the same way anymore, and you start to get desperate and predictable. And then a defense like Utah's can take advantage of those opportunities and really slow you down. I think we're going to see all the air come out of Texas Tech here over the next few weeks. I think they're going to drop in the rankings. I think they're going to drop in the advanced metrics. Not out of them, but this is a top 20 to 30 team, not a not the way that they've played, which is essentially a top 10, top 15 team, and they're just not there. And then, I mean, the big thing for me is home field. When you've got 2 good teams and it's hard to decide which one you want to win, you really want to be the football team that's playing in their home stadium. It makes a huge difference consistently. It's one of the most predictable things about sports is home field advantage. And the Utes have it, and I think it is going to make a big part of the difference when it comes to the actual score predictions. So as Alex mentioned at the beginning, I finally have my charts. We've got enough data that we can really look at how these teams are performing. We can analyze predicted scores. So the way that these charts work is it is a probability of scoring margin across every single score, from 35-point loss for the Utes all the way up to a 70-point win for the Utes. And in this case, the chart looks pretty good for Utah. I mean, it's not way over there to the right where you would have seen the chart last week, certainly,
but especially when you compare it to the spread. Right now, the spread's at 3.5 points favorites for the Utes, but they beat that spread 55% of the time. You're not quite betting with house money at that point, 55.8%, so 56% of the time. But the Utes look good to beat this spread. They've just been a more efficient, more consistent team over the course of the last 3 weeks, and they've done it not against good opponents, but against opponents who we know more about and who give us a little bit more confidence in terms of making a statistical prediction. Whereas with Texas Tech, like I said, they're just throwing the ball on an empty field, and we really don't know hardly anything about them except that they play good in practice, and flag football works well for them. So yeah, I've got my money on the Utes. I got my money on the Utes beating the spread. You've ran these numbers a number of times, and ultimately came down to Utah's going to put up 28 points, and I think Tech's going to get 23, and Utah's going to get out of there pretty comfortable at the end of the day.
Joe, I hate that prediction because my prediction was 28-24.
It's not allowed. You have to make a different prediction.
Yeah, the over under on it right now, the total on it right now is up to 58. The money's pushing that up. It opened at 55, and I think that's crazy. I think you take the under in a team like this, Utah's going to want to run the ball. Texas Tech's going to want to throw the ball, but they mix it in pretty well. And even though the one thing that Texas Tech was very bad at last year was pass defense, and it's the only thing where they're not ranked in the top 30 raw stats right now is their pass defense. I think Utah's still going to do what they've done to win all of these games, which is lean on that offensive line, lean on running the ball, get stops, get pressure on the defensive side of the ball. And I do think Texas Tech's offensive line, that is the one thing that Pro Football Focus hates about their team. None of their offensive linemen are rated above about a 62. So
that's
I think Utah's going to be able to get that pressure.
And with all those transfers,
Wow.
that's a fascinating number and speaks to what you were saying about cohesiveness and playing together.
Dustin,
John Henry Daly. Woo! He's gonna
maybe. Sorry to interrupt, guys. Dustin, maybe even if you could speak on this with just how PFF works and everything, because I mean, Texas Tech, when it comes down to it, they've played some pretty bad teams, right? So you'd expect their offensive line to actually be pretty decent. So like what kind of factors can kind of figure into that might even sometimes be just kind of out of maybe the offensive line's control?
So that's the reason that all of their other players, right, all of their skill positions on both sides of the ball and their defensive line are rated in the high 70s, 80s, and 90s. The linebackers are really highly rated. Their defensive line is really highly rated. Their quarterbacks are highly rated. The running backs are highly rated. Because the Pro Football Focus, essentially what they say is that they grade every play. And what probably happens is that a robot grades every play, right? And then a person comes in and checks and sees how close that is to what is actually happening on the field. With the offensive line, I don't trust a robot, and I don't trust most humans to grade the offensive line. So what PFF I'm confident really looks at is how many pressures are they giving up? Where's that pressure coming from, right? Is it coming from the right tackle spot? Is it coming from the left tackle spot? Is it blitz up the middle? Those are things that you can teach a robot to do pretty well. And then how many penalties? And for as much sort of complaining as we've done the last 2 weeks about Utah's penalties, Texas Tech's offensive line has 8 holding penalties against terrible teams in the last 3 games, and they have given up a lot of pressure. They against, again, pretty bad teams. The under pressure, out of 85 snaps, their quarterback against just terrible teams, their quarterback's been under pressure more than 20 times.
These are exquisitely bad opponents. I mean, they are as they have handpicked the worst possible defensive lines to give their guys an on-ramp.
This is the worst.
Great.
This is the worst schedule in the country, according to
the bus and into the teeth of one of the meanest defensive lines in the country.
So they've given up a decent amount of pressure. They've kept their quarterback pretty clean. He hasn't been sacked a lot. but he's under pressure a decent amount, not a ton.
He's already got
You know,
dinged up, too.
but right, and he got under pressure enough that he got a little bit hurt. Now he's supposed to be healthy, he's supposed to be playing, but just like we talked about last week, I wouldn't want to be the Wyoming quarterback with that offensive line facing this defense. I wouldn't want to be any quarterback facing Utah's defensive line ever, but this year's defensive line has exceeded my expectations and has put a good amount of pressure on offensive lines, and this offensive line is not rated very well because they're giving up pressure and because they're committing a lot of penalties. So,
Matt, I don't feel like we've heard enough from you, man.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about some individuals on that team. The two least experienced players on that offensive line are the right tackle and the left tackle. We got a redshirt freshman at right tackle, and then a transfer from North Texas / North Carolina / a bunch of schools at left tackle. So John Henry Daly gets to take him on, and hopefully Logan Fano against the redshirt freshman. And if that's the case, yeah, there's going to be a lot of pressure. So I look at it that way, and that's by far the biggest weakness. So I think you've got that right on the head, Dustin. And then on offense, they're one-dimensional. Their running game has been okay, but look, they lost Taj Brooks, one of the best running backs to ever play at Texas Tech, and then Quentin Joyner, who they got from USC, ended up getting injured, out for the season about a week before the season started. And so now they're using a couple of guys, a couple of sophomores at running back that haven't been extremely efficient against bad teams. And last season they did get some play as freshmen, but even then they were just okay. So if there's a lot of pressure on Morton, they don't have a running game that they can really turn to, meaning the Utes can bring even more pressure on Morton, which is why I was saying I think they hit a wall. And so I think this is actually going to be even lower score. I think Utah is gonna have some struggles offensively because this is the best defense they've played as well. And so I'm predicting a 28-17 Utah win.
Okay. All right, so we're all taking the under, and we're all taking Utah to cover.
Yep.
So I think I gave a prediction in the post game the other day with Moss, and I want to say it was either 31-27 or 31-24. I want to say it was 31-27. I called it saying Utah is going to seal it with one of their trademark drives that they've had, more than once this year, where it's grinded out, about 19, 20 plays and covering a whole bunch of time.
9 minutes, 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. The best thing they can do is keep that Texas Tech offense off the field with how quick those guys like to score. So I'll tell you guys this too. So if any Ute fan is like me, I'm listening to you guys on this stuff right now, and I'm feeling a lot more confident in what Utah can do on Saturday. So
I'll agree with Joe.
Yeah,
I'm glad this game is at home. I am annoyed that the game's at 9 a.m., but
your time. Tell everybody
right
where you're at. All
10
right.
o'clock Mountain Time. Don't show up at 9 anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Please show up at 9. This team has played really, really well. I mean, we were coming into that first game. I picked Utah to lose against UCLA, and they didn't. They creamed them, and then they have gone on to cream everybody, and they have done it in a fashion that suggests that they can do it against the very best competition. Whereas Texas Tech has creamed all of their opponents, but they have done it in a fashion that suggests when they run into somebody who knows how to stop the one thing they know how to do, they are not going to have another choice, and they're not going to be able to
leave their house
down the field.
Yep.
Yeah,
they don't
and so
know
I think that Utes fans should feel
Yep.
confident, and I think Utes fans should be really confident about where this team's going to go all year. My projections for this team have changed a great deal over the last 3 weeks. They have really exceeded my expectations both on offense and defense in terms of their performance, and Utes fans should feel good.
Cool. Going forward, it's going to be fun. I know that you were saying you were putting some stuff together to try to get a power poll here and there going.
Yes, sir. It's going to be interesting. I think
So-
next week is going to be just the right time for Power Poll. We're going to have some
I
more
think it's going
conference
to be
play.
perfect. It's too early right now. I would say that.
It's
for sure.
just made up. I don't like making things up.
All right, guys. Well, hey, we've been at this long enough on this second episode for the week. Closing thoughts from anybody?
Consequential football. I'm excited.
Finally.
I'd just say for Ute fans, if you look at some of the media stuff that's been out there, there's some media there in Lubbock, Texas, that don't think Ute fans can be very loud at 10 a.m. And I'm excited to see what Ute fans decide to do about that come Saturday.
Stay tuned. We're interviewing him. So
There we go.
Yeah.
Matt usually handles those. Matt usually
handles.
handles those. The ace with the banners coming in on it too. So
Nice.
I will give Chris credit though. Chris with Texas Tech. Okay, he is a good dude. He means well. Some of those words were taken a little out of context.
Oh, they have to be though. That's what
Hey,
you do
I
as
mean,
fans.
That's half the fun, Alex.
You guys have
That's
seen
what
the
you
amount of
called him,
times-
Timu, Texas, and that's going to get taken out of context. That's
You
making
guys have
the
seen the
rounds.
amount of times I get clipped.
That's already halfway across the internet. We haven't even wrapped recording yet.
You guys have seen the amount of times I've been clipped, and I know it's going to happen this week. Even though I will
Absolutely.
compliment those guys right and left, right? Like they are. I keep telling. Okay, they're fans, and they can clip this. I don't care. Their fans are some of the worst when it comes to trash talk and banter. They don't know what they're doing. It's elementary. They don't have the stats and the history to back it up. Okay, they've won three. They've had 3 10+ win seasons in over 70 years. Okay, so when I say this stuff, I'm saying things to back it up. At the same time,
I will say Utah has joined a conference full of fan bases like that because Kansas fans and Iowa State fans are similar. We'll talk about that when we get to those games.
when we get to those guys. Now, what I will say is when it comes to that, yes, I've said all those things, Kay, but at the same time too, they've shown well this year, and it's still to be determined, right? Like they very well could have a good football team. I mean, I talked to everybody about them building with the trenches. Okay. You guys talked about how the PFF grades are not showing well for their offensive line. I mean, I can flat out tell you guys too, and Dustin, just like you said, like computers don't see that stuff as well. Robots don't see that stuff as well. Okay. Utah's grading system, I want to say it was Michael Mokafisi a bunch the last couple of years. They said god awful low PFF grades.
Yeah. Yep.
So
they've been terrible.
Internally on those grading systems,
Yep.
he's graded at the top.
Yep.
So PFF doesn't have the offensive line grades fully figured out. You know, we can say they do, and everybody can pound their chest for Spencer and for Caleb. You know, they do have a good idea on things, but there are certain things that slip through the cracks. Texas Tech's offensive line is better than PFF is giving them credit for. Okay.
Yeah.
And so again, it's going to be really interesting. They're building it the right way with the oil money, building it the right way. So you throw that out and how they're, just, building the nucleus. That's the smart way to do it. That's how Utah's done it. That's what Lincoln Riley still can't figure out. USC. God. But yeah, it's going to be a fun game. Looking forward to it. Everybody better show up early because I will say that Chris isn't completely off base with when it comes to talking that it hits so different at Rice Eccles at night from a fan experience versus day when it comes to the players' experience in that. So challenge, take the challenge, you fans.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, appreciate everybody. Ivan will be back next week. You guys don't have to deal with me anymore, at least for the time being. So thank you for stomaching me, guys. And
No, it's good to have you. It's good to have you
Timu
around.
Ivan. We like
That
Timu Ivan.
that you take the time with us.
you just call me Timu Ivan?
Timu Ivan.
I mean, he's 6'7". He is 6'7". So He's 6'7". I'll take it. I'll take it that way. I'll
there you go. There you go.
for my
No, it's
for
been
my
a pleasure,
psyche,
Alex.
for my
Always good to
psyche,
chat
I'm
with
just
you,
gonna
my
take
friend.
it like you meant it that way. Okay.
Sounds good. Always good to
All
chat
right,
with you,
man.
my friend. All right.
All right. Hey, well, again, everybody, thank you for joining. Looking forward to bringing this to everybody throughout the entire season. I think everybody's going to be blown away by how the numbers look and the numbers that these guys talk about throughout the rest of the season, especially now that there's that track record that we were talking about. If I wasn't expecting you guys to be blown away, I wouldn't have these guys on here. So they're some of the best when it comes to the stuff with the Utes. But as always, thank you for the support. I want everybody to just hit that like button, hit that like button and subscribe. YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Again, we're running a promo on UteNation.com. Go in promo code UTE50. Get some of the great content around, and just enjoy what could be a very special season. And hopefully, we're talking about just how special it could be after this game next weekend. It's going to be a huge one, and the winner of this is in the driver's seat for the Big 12, guys.
Yeah,
So,
it really is.
all right. Until next time. Thank you, guys.